Hey, this is Brandon with Xcart. I'm continuing on our series of how to launch an e-commerce on automotive e-commerce store. This is a video that's going to be, I think, interesting to a wide range of people, not just those in the automotive market, but also for anybody that wants to buy a domain. So we're talking on this video about buying a domain name and all the things and the thought processes you might go through to buy that, some tools you might use, and some things that I have learned along the way. I've probably bought hundreds of domain names, maybe not hundreds, maybe 100 plus domain names, and some experiences that I've had there, and some tools I think you'll find useful. So I'm gonna move this over to the corner here, and you'll see I've got on my window, I've started out with a website I like to sort of start with called InstantDomainSearch.com. This one is one where you can just like type and it like throws up suggestions real quick for you, so you don't have to like type and search. So you can just start typing in words here to start thinking of stuff that comes to mind. Things like this, car parts, and you can see as you kind of go around here, it's got alternate extensions, so not just the .coms but the .net or .ios, all the random extensions. It's got some other ones with other words that are on there. These are mostly available that are not registered yet. And then premium domains that knows about quite a few of them that are for sale online, and it's got options there to see some of them. So this is one of the tools I like to use. Car parts or instant domain search. And again, you sort of start thinking here and think about you can just like really search pretty quickly to see what's available and what's not. So obviously something like carcare.com, but maybe if I wanted to do something like Honda carcare.com, that's one that is probably available. Although I wouldn't recommend putting a brand name in your domain. You might get asked by Honda not to have that in your name. So try to think of things that are more generic like that, and that have words. Obviously, the shorter the better. In most cases, the more memorable the better, the easier to spell it is. These are all things you can find that are desirable. So this is one of the tools I use, InstantDomainSearch.com. The other one I use is the what's it called, the Namecheap marketplace. So a lot of people like to just, when they start searching for domains, they look for things that aren't registered yet, but there's actually quite a lot of domains that are for sale now for reasonable prices. So where Instant Domain Search, most of them listed here are worth $1,500 on up. I like Namecheap Marketplace because it has them starting at like $10. So and it's got a pretty good filter system on here. So you can again do the same thing. I go to the Namecheap Marketplace, Google it. I like to go to the buy now section. The auction ones are auctions, they can go up to a lot. So, and then I like to set filters down to some reasonable amount. Let's say $300 or something. You can set the name length, down to something reasonable. Search just for .coms for now. You can avoid no numbers, no hyphens in here. And you can see there's lots of them in here for, tens of dollars or up to a few $100s is my filter. And then you can start putting in filters in here like car or car care or something like that. And then you can see options that are here. So some of these, carcareai.com is only $100. So that might be a reasonable amount for you to pay for some of these. I found some of them pretty surprisingly low. I think I bought one the other day, a pretty good one for like $30 on here. So you can go through here. This is another tool that I like to just use for browsing. And then the other thing that you'll also kind of do is if you find a domain that you like. So sometimes one of these will point out a domain that you like. Vehicle Car Care, for example, it says you can buy it for $1,000, but you can usually investigate around here and see. This is usually if the domain's for sale, it's probably for sale in multiple places. So you can go to a place like this and see. Sometimes it'll say for sale and have a price on it. This one does not. Let's see, there was one I came across the other day. I think it was DIYcarcare.com. Car. This one is a domain that's for sale for $1,700. So it's a little expensive, but depending on what you're trying to do, maybe a reasonable price. The other thing I've seen on these two, there's a bunch of options for premium. This is called a premium domain generally when it's for sale for a little bit more. These are often negotiable. So this is wanting this for $1,800. I've found you can generally pick these up for probably about 25 or 30% less than that. If you do find one that you really like, it's worth offering a little bit less and see if they'll take it. Usually there's a little bit of flexibility in those. Sometimes you can get it for way less, so you might be able to offer somebody $200 for this domain, and depending on who it is that's selling it, you might be able to do it. The other thing that I'll point out too, and you'll see this more and more frequently now, is a lot of them have, they call them lease-to-own, or this one has a payment plan option. They're slightly different probably, but the idea behind it is you pay, instead of paying like that whole price up front, they'll spread it out for you into monthly payments. I guess this is more like a purchase that you're committing to the whole 24 months and buying the thing. There are others that have more of like a lease-to-own deal, so you can lease it for a certain amount of months, and then if you find after you've worked on it for 6 months and it doesn't work, you can just basically abandon your payments, and then the domain reverts back to the original owner, and you're not committed to pay the whole full price for it. So something to look out for when you're buying domains is that lease to own option is available sometimes. And then also sometimes with these, they are, if you get in touch with the owner, you can just negotiate on them. The other thing that I'll say too, there's like a, I don't know, there's probably something called a WHOIS record. Let's see if I can find the one for this. DIY car care. There's like a WHOIS record. This is the official record of who owns the domain. These are all basically obfuscated now, so that you don't actually get anybody's real email addresses on it. But if you go and email these folks, sometimes if you just email, if they found a domain that you really like, I've had some success with this. In a couple cases, I've got some good deals. If you can email, I usually email several people, usually like whatever's listed on the registrant contacts here. Email this person. I also will email admin at like the domain I'm trying to buy. So admin at DIYcarcare.com, or webmaster at, or you can sometimes do abuse at. Abuse is an email that's supposed to be set up. If you don't get any response from some of those, abuse I'd kind of use as a last resort. But sometimes you can just email like one of those common names like webmaster or domains at or whatever, and reply to them, and you'll get a reply from somebody back who owns it and be willing to sell it. So that's another thing that's I found too, is like just because it's taken, you can a lot of times figure out how to do that. Now a lot of these services, I know like GoDaddy has one where they try to negotiate on your behalf, but that's pretty much all they do too. So and then they try to mark it up and add a premium in the middle. So I generally just try and do it myself on those. So that's the kind of the main tools I use to go through that. Let me know if you have any others that you like in the comments of this video. I'm sure there are others. I've seen a couple AI-driven ones lately that try to do this better, but I still think the ones I've seen aren't quite as good. So I usually use this, and again, you sort of think about all the sort of options you want. DIY car care is kind of the one I liked, so I'm going to kind of riff off of that a little bit and see what else I can find. Auto care, like the thing that I'm trying to do is basically do it yourself. Repairs you can do and replacements. Parts.com. So some of these, if I really like this one, I might go over here and see if it's for sale, see if it's already got a site on it. A lot of times it'll just time out, which means it's not a valid site right now. So you can try that thing to email those contacts on it. Oh, it came up eventually. So this actually does have a site on it. It looks like an eBay store. I just redirected to an eBay store. So I'm going to go through and try a bunch of other ones and see what I can find. Specific ones I don't think it's very fun to watch somebody go buy that. So I will try and summarize that if I can find something. And let you know how it goes. Follow along on this video. Let me know also in the comments if you have success with any of these methods or if you have any other thoughts. Thanks.